Welcome to the DC bus ridership website developed by myself, John Mark Fisher, for Geography 778. The application can be found at jmjfisher.com/DC-bus. And upon landing on the website, the user is greeted with this quote: "Transit ridership fell in 31 of 35 major metropolitan areas in the United States last year. Bus ridership in Washington, D.C. has been in decline since 2013, but do we know why?" So that is supposed to pull the user in with a question, and they can click this button here to begin the investigation. And this will scroll them down to the first section. So this website is broken up into three charts with accompanying text, and then finally a map, a leaflet, Slippy map at the end to complete their analysis. So through this, I will not be reading the text. This website is pretty text heavy. I call it a visual essay of sorts. And the text is just kind of to expand upon what the charts are saying and what the map is saying at the bottom. So this first map here was developed in Adobe Illustrator, and I use D3 methods to allow tooltips on hover. So this chart shows percentage change of population, new car registrations, traffic, and bus ridership in DC. So you can hover any of these to get the actual numbers, but so example, in 2011, bus ridership went up 6%, whereas in 2017 it went down over 6%. You cannot hover over the traffic figures, or there is no tooltip over traffic figures because they don't really make sense on a numeric level, but all the other figures do. So as the user scrolls, for example, the population paragraph is now centered, and therefore the website will highlight in orange the population fields to, again, draw the eye. So this happens for, again, automobile registrations or new cars, traffic, and then finally bus ridership. So that's how this graphic works. Maybe this swiped up by the next graphic. Means of commuting. So this is derived from American Community Survey data. How do residents of Washington, D.C. get to work? So it's a measurement from 0 to 100%. So for example, in 2011, 35.5% of all commuters drove, 6.5% carpooled, and so on and so forth. Again, this has tooltip to show the exact percent and the numbers. And as you can see, it's interesting in that driving and carpool and public transportation have all slightly decreased, while as walking and working from home, like working remotely, have all increased. Again, the text expands upon all this. And this is the third graphic, which is pretty straightforward. It just shows how much fares were in February 2010 compared to currently. In June 2017, it changed from $1.75 to $2, and then the percentage change. This is not dynamic. And then finally, the user is greeted with this quote sandbox map, which I ask them to play around, try to answer other questions that they may have, or just investigate how buses look in Washington, D.C. right now. This is a leaflet map, so the user can drag and zoom. You can change the base map, add some demographic overlays like population and per capita income. For these two, you can hover, again, to open a tooltip. And then I have these in raster form. So this is displaying the same information, just more generalized and less specific at the track level. And this little legend pops up to kind of show like this is higher per capita income, and this is lower, the darker purple versus the darker green. And similarly, the population raster kind of hot zoned the population. So those are just more generalized than these. So if the user likes that. There's this DC outline, Metro rail lines, Metro rail stations. Open up this little M icon, and you can hover over them to get the name of the Metro rail station. 2030 rapid bus routes that are planned, 2030 bus rapid transit routes, which are also planned. These are a little more complicated to build. They're dedicated bus lanes. And then a layer showing the top 20% areas of high traffic density. But the main functionality of the map and the part that was most interesting to develop was a way to load bus routes. So the user can do this, select a bus route and add the stops to the map, and the map zooms to those stops. So this is where the A6 bus travels, and these are all of its stops, and you can hover over all the stops just like the Metro rail stations. So basically it starts in Anacostia and goes all the way down here. And then the user can remove the stops. And then another way a user can query for bus routes is by right-clicking on the map. And this will drop a pin, and it will display all the bus stops serviced by routes that serve the bus stop nearest the pin, as I listed right here. The user can left-click to remove this pin, and if they want to, and then it's also saying that from that pin, the bus that service those areas are 70 and 79. And the user can do it again if they want to compare, living over here versus living over here, where you can get, and this will populate with the most recent pin drop, so M4 and N2. Go here. And then you can also just remove stops with this button. Again, left click to remove the pin. And at any point in time, the user can refresh the entire map to its original state, no matter what is on. There you go. And finally, there is a brief conclusion at the end, as well as my data sources and references used. Thank you for viewing my project. I hope you enjoyed it.